Somebody dropped off a paper talking about somewhere taking you to court because you never finished paying on this card. Okay, well, the card was like, I owe like $3,000 on the car. I wish that these people understood if I made the money that it is that I needed to make to pay you, I would. It's a bunch of other shit that I gotta take care of. I got cavities in my mouth right now. I have a tooth that needs to be extracted. However, that tooth has 3 roots, so I need to see a specialist. Mind you, I don't have any insurance. Mind you, I went to college. Mind you, I got a bachelor's. Mind you, I got my master's. Mind you, getting a degree does not guarantee you money. Especially when the reason that you got the degree was not rooted in like authenticity. A lot of us, we were experienced trauma. A lot of us didn't have things, and we wanted to try to make a better life for ourselves. And the way that we thought that that was possible was by going to school. And that is not, some people it work out. Some people it don't. Like, I'm low-key artsy as you know what I'm saying? I didn't have an opportunity to really know that I was artsy because I grew up in trauma. And a lot of people are just walking around that are just like shells of hurt and shells and trauma and shit like that. Like, it's just so much. I know I'm at the point where I just want to get rid of everything and I want to start a new life. I don't want to try to change in the environment that I'm in. Like, you ever tried to get sober around a bunch of alcoholics? Is lonely as like, it's other stuff. Like, I can't believe, like, really, y'all want to take me to court? Like, if I had the money to pay y'all, like, it still costs money to eat. It costs money to take care of yourself. Like, I probably need a therapist, and like, it's all of these basic necessities, and the cost of everything is going up. Like, if you making it, you making it. But for those of us who are not making it right now, we're still trying to figure out ourselves. It's so hard to figure out yourself in a system that keeps on going. Like, imagine you whole time you drowning, but somebody standing on the shore talking about, just flap your arms, just flap. Like, what the fuck? I'm literally drowning, but I'm also trying to learn how to swim when whole time I need swim lessons. The lesson is happening as I'm in the water, which is crazy, which your ass is on the land because you already know how to swim. That's what it feels like living in America. It feels like living in America right now. So I'm very interested in what life is like in other countries. I'm tired of like this fast pace. That's another thing too. Like, when you applying for jobs, they be like, you know, can you work in fast pace? All of this stuff is just descendants of slavery. These people came to America, basically saw all this land and was like, oh my God, I can make all of this money. If you can make all of that money, do that shit by yourself. You can't make all this money off this land without people. Y'all wasn't paying people. Like, what?
I ain't gonna lie. I definitely didn't expect slavery to come out of that. But hey, you let people talk long enough and we go down some major rabbit holes. But hey, I'm gonna speak on what we've heard so far. There's more that she has to say, but go ahead, get in the comments, share your thoughts on what you've heard so far while I get into what I want to dive into. And the first thing that I want to talk about is you can't avoid your responsibilities. Every adult, if you have a debt, you are going to be expected to pay it off, whether it's a car debt, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a credit card debt, whatever it is, even your student loans, you have a responsibility if you took on that debt, that responsibility at some point to pay it off. She talked about college and a degree not guaranteeing that you are going to be able to be successful and make money. And that's true. A degree does not guarantee that you will be successful. But here's the thing. I think that there's a lot of people who went to college just for the experience. They didn't go to college to really get a degree that will put them in a position where they could build a strong financial foundation. And that boils down to choice. See, going to college isn't about the experience. It's about positioning yourself for the future, which means you need to pick the correct degree. Now, I get what she's saying about, you know, not wanting to change in the environment that she's in. I understand that, right? Sometimes the only way that you can get the change that you need to further yourself in life is to remove yourself from toxic environments. But I don't think the answer to that is removing yourself from the country, right? She gave us a whole analogy about being trapped in the water and somebody on the shore telling you to just flap your hands. But the thing that she left out that I think is really important is, why would a person who doesn't know how to swim go into the water? That's the main thing. You should not have gotten into the water if you didn't know how to swim. So if you're struggling and somebody is on the shore and they're telling you, hey, flap your hands, like do what you need to do, the assumption from the person on the shore is that yo butt know how to swim. And for some reason, you've forgotten how to do that. But when you recognize that you don't know how to swim at all, the real issue is that you should have never gotten in the water. But most people are not even willing to acknowledge the fact that, hey, I made a bad choice, right? That's where personal accountability comes into place. And when you are not willing to first take accountability and say, you know what, I got myself in debt. I chose to go to college for the experience and not to get a degree that will make me money. That's the only time that you're going to really be able to get the change that you want. You got to acknowledge, I made those mistakes. It's on me. Because the real thing that you got to focus on is figuring out how you're going to make money. She talked about figuring out herself, and a lot of people will do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But before you do that, you got to get yourself in a position where you can survive. You can take care of yourself. It's like, what is it? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, the self-fulfillment is at the very top of the pyramid, because that's the last thing is getting to this enlightened state. You first got to take care of your basic needs, man. You need water, you need food, you need shelter. You got to take care of that stuff first, and not trying to go on these esoteric journeys. Like, that's once you have built a firm foundation financially, then you can think about doing that. Really, when you look at this issue, the environment, if you in a toxic one, you got to remove it. But more than anything, I think the main toxic environment for a lot of people and why they're struggling and going through a lot of hardships is because of their mindset. It's their mind that is the real toxic environment that needs to be clean. They need to put themselves in a position where they can remove all of that toxic thought. And part of it is getting off of social media, getting from around other people that are only talking about how hard things are, how expensive life is, how much that they don't like being in America. Like, you got to remove all of that from coming into your mind, into your space. Like, remove that, change your thinking, put yourself around people that are thriving, put yourself, in her analogy, around the people that are on this shore before you step into the water or step back into the water. Make sure you understand exactly what's necessary for you to thrive. And going back to that point about slavery has absolutely nothing to do with any person in 2026 and their struggles. Nothing. I don't care if you are black. I don't care if you are a descendant of slaves. Slavery ain't got nothing to do with you. Slavery has nothing to do with any of the issues or the struggles that you're facing. It all goes back to your personal choices. But let's get back to what this young lady has to say. And man, this should be interesting, y'all. Let's go back to this.
Like, I'm so excited. I'm like less than 2 weeks away from turning 29. And I really think that this is about to be my most transformative, my most powerful and transformative year to date. Because I want a whole new life. I don't really like a lot of things that's going on. I want to be by myself. It's so much that I want to change about myself. And I know that to create, or not even to create, to maintain, I don't even know. I just know that I got to get out of the environment it is that I'm in right now. I have to. So I can be the best version of myself, the version of me that I know that I could be, the version of me that I see myself being, because I don't want no traditional ass 9-to-5 job. I don't want that. I want to be able to be by myself and to take care of myself. I don't want to give no exchange for none of that. Like, I got things it is that I'm trying to do. My time here, everybody's time here is on this earth is limited. We only have so much time. Do what it is that you want to do. I don't want to work no more jobs to be paying all of this shit no more. I want to be alone. That is the biggest thing that I'm seeking right now. And I'm about to allow myself, and I know this video long, but another thing that I was thinking about is like we work so much or so hard in America, right? When you get your little bit of downtime, like it's the weekend, typically your weekends will consist of one or two things. Your weekends will consist of finishing whatever it is that you need to do that you didn't get to finish doing during the week, or it's prepping for the following week. Like, oh, I need to grocery shop so I can eat next week. I need to do my laundry. I need to do this and this and this and that, right? Now, mind you, the weekends is also probably when you spending your time with your friends. I feel like that's an issue that I personally am having right now. When I have free time, well, to a certain extent, but when I be having free time, it's like, okay, well, I've done all the things, and it's like I want to see my friends one whole time, like trying to squeeze time with friends in while also making sure that you're good and you have everything it is that you need for the week. Like that shit just gets hard. And so it's like I feel like I'm trying to squeeze too much in. Like, I don't know. Like our free time should be able to rest and relax. Like even think about the concept of holidays. Like even though I love me a little holiday, I'm kind of side eyeing them right now because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think it's always a holiday, always like, oh, you got a 3-day weekend. Oh, well, let's get together with the family. Like, think about it. Thanksgiving, we get like what? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 5 days off. What happens? Wednesday, you prepping food. Thursday, you with everybody. Friday, you probably still with people or whatever. Or people might be like, let's get together on a Saturday or whatever. Like, all of these things are just things that are keeping us around people, keeping us spending money, keeping us doing all of those things. And I'm just anti that right now, and I really just want to leave so I can create me a new life.
After hearing all of that, there's one conclusion that I can draw when it comes to people that have this type of mindset. And when you hear somebody saying that they don't want to work, they don't want a 9 to 5, they don't want the responsibility of having to pay people and pay for this and pay for that, what I'm hearing is somebody saying that they want to be a kid. They want to literally be a child. A child is the only person or only people walking this planet that have no responsibility. And it's a real sad shame when you have grown adults, somebody that said they're about to be 29 years old, but they still have the mindset of a child when it comes to their responsibilities in life. You cannot be 29 years old and you're still thinking like a child. You want things handed to you. You want things easy. You don't want to have to deal with the responsibility of paying off your bills or figuring out how you can navigate this financial struggle that you find yourself going through. But when you listen to the things that she said, this is the reality of a lot of people. And the biggest thing is always going to go back to the choices that you make. But on top of that, look at the things that she's prioritizing. She's prioritizing the people. Why are you prioritizing your friends and hanging out with people when you don't yet have yourself on a firm financial footing? Like there's a such thing as no. And I feel like that's a starting point for a lot of people is you got to learn how to say no. To a certain extent, you have to be selfish. I'm going to say it. If you want to be financially successful, you have to be selfish. You have to be selfish when it comes to telling other people no. No, I'm not going to hang out with y'all. I got to work. I got to put in business. I got to put in time. I got to build my financial future. I hang out with y'all when I'm set. And if there's a bunch of people around you and they don't recognize that, that goes back to the point of you in a toxic environment. The people around you, their priorities are out of whack. So I agree with her wholeheartedly when it comes to her needing to, and other people that are in a similar situation, needing to change your environment. Get from around these people, but not for the sole purpose of you getting alone so that you could just absorb yourself from having to take on the responsibilities of an adult. No, you should be wanting to change your environment so you could change your thinking, right? And start to figure out how can you get yourself out of this financial trouble. She was talking about being unable to pay to get her teeth work. Think about that. She said it's $300. When you can't cover a $300 dental, when you got cavities and you need to have an extraction, that's a problem. You should not be worrying about hanging out with friends. You should be figuring out how can I make some extra money so I can get taken care of this going on with my mouth and my teeth. She talked about having a debt. It wasn't even a crazy amount of debt that she owed somebody, $3,000. Now, I know so many people may be like, oh man, it's a lot of money. But like in the grand scheme of things, $3,000 is a debt that a person can pay off if you're putting in enough work and you're generating income. So it's really about, are you wanting to and are you willing to make the choices necessary to put yourself in a position where you prioritize making money? Let me say this again. You prioritize making money, figuring out a way for you to earn more. And my question is, how are you possibly going to be able to do that if you are unwilling to work a 9 to 5? Because I know you're not thinking about, and she didn't say it. So I'm going to just put this out there. I hear people all the time talking about they going to lead a 9 to 5. What? To create content? What? To become an entrepreneur? No, those are things that are not guaranteed. What you going to do in the meantime? How you going to make some money? It don't make no sense. It's different if you want to pursue those things, but keep the job. It's not always going to be happy. I hear people always in the comments, shout out to y'all that are sharing y'all sacrifices. Y'all watching these videos and y'all like, yo, man, I had to go in when I was sick. I had to put in this work and do this job that I didn't want to do. And I was able to build something for me and my family. It's about making sacrifices. That is what adults do. Children have everything handed to them and have no responsibility. We don't want to be kids. You don't want to be 29. You don't want to be in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, and you still got the mind of a child. You want to put in the work now, make the sacrifices, build a firm foundation, develop the skills that you need to make money. Sacrifice now, put yourself first now, and then you can enjoy all of the wonderful things that come along with the work you put in at the very front. That's my thoughts. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your take on this situation. Feel free to drop them in the comments if you like. Until next time, I'm Jay. Stay blessed.